Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. It is time once again for the Global Online Ministry Alliance. And I'm Derek Day. Have an awesome lineup of teachers who teach on the GOMA, the Global Online Ministry Alliance, starting off on Sundays with my friend and brother Lynn Bennett Jr., followed by Kyle Butler, followed by Catherine Toon, and yours truly. And then on Wednesdays in the morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we have Grounds and Grace with Mike Zenker. And then on Thursday, we have more Grounds and more Grace with Keith Giles. Then I'm also part of the 3 Chord Live. 3 Chord Live is another awesome alliance of teachers and preachers and whatever you want to call us. It starts off on Mondays with Bill Thrasher, followed by Tuesdays with Table Talk with Michelle Brown and Tammy Wilson. And on Wednesdays, Dr. Catherine Toon is back. On Thursdays, Kyle Butler returns. And on Fridays, Freology Friday with me. And then all through the week, you have Mike Zenker floating in and out. So that's our lineup, right? So this is what I call quantum spirituality. And I'm experimenting with something because I'm going to attempt to do this without glasses. I've got a secret setup here. I got a hookup. What I'm doing is basically you're supposed to let these things be seamless, but I'm a geek, so I want to share this geekiness with you. I'm sitting in my family room, and so I've got my iPhone set up here on the tripod in front of me, and then I have my 65-inch TV in front of me. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to see who's on without my glasses. So y'all bear with me as I stumble through this little bit of technology. But Dadine, I want to thank you for joining. Tony Sharp, my brother from Detroit, one of my oldest friends. 50, let's see, what are we now? Tony and I are 57, so this means like 53 years of friendship. and so that's a long time, right? And he knows me and still loves me, and that's so cool. Michelle Smith-Lindo, thank you for joining. So good to see you. So anyway, we've done all of the intros and all of that stuff, and we're listening to a compilation called D Strings, which is Stanley Clark, Jean-Luc Ponty, Basile Lagraine, and yeah, that's it. So I like to have a little bit of jazz playing in the background while I do my little shindig here on Sundays. And in my cup, I have some Death Wish coffee. Yeah, world's best coffee. I don't care what anybody says. So, the whole point of quantum spirituality is getting down to the quantum components, or the most finite elements of spirituality. And I really believe that if we take the time to understand this logically and scientifically, because here's the thing, people say, oh, well, if you have faith, you don't need logic. Well, that's nonsense. God gave us a brain to think with, right? And so the thing is, we want to engage our brains. We want to think about what it is that we're believing, because honestly, if what we're believing is right, it ought to make sense. I just believe that. I think that anything that's worth understanding, anything that's worth believing, that it ought to make sense. So that's why I try to, for the sake of this particular installment, what I like to do is to reverse engineer things and get down to their most finite elements, because that way we understand it, and our faith isn't something spooky. It's actually something that we can grasp with our reason, and that also makes it more likely that we're able to share it effectively. Because see, if you don't understand something, and somebody has said this once, that if you're not able to explain this to a 6-year-old, you really don't get it. And so I want to make sure that I understand it, and I want to make sure that you understand it. So this week I've been really kind of focusing on confidence because I've come to the conclusion that the thing that makes God is confidence. See, the thing is that when God stepped out of eternity into nothing and spoke something and created everything, he didn't say, well, I'm not sure if I could do this, or I'm not sure if I want to do this. I don't think, that wasn't on God's mind. That wasn't part of the plan. That wasn't part of the agenda. Because see, the thing is, if God wavered, then nothing could be created. And it's important that we understand that, because see, the thing is that we are his image, his likeness, his substance. In other words, we are God in this earth. We are his image, his likeness, his representation, his manifestation, his expression, whatever you want to call it. And people wonder why things don't work for them. And the reason things don't work for most of us is because we simply lack confidence, right? So today, I want to talk about isness, or being. And if you want to say it like a hood speak, the isness is the business. If you don't get the isness, then the business doesn't work. At some point, you have to understand with a high degree of confidence that you have the capability, the ability, the authority, the potential, the promise to bring everything that you want in your world to pass. Listen, we're not created to live in lack. We're not created to live in doubt. We're not created to be missing anything. We're supposed to be complete. We're complete. And now watch this. Somebody will say, well, Derek, what about people who are blind? What about people who are handicapped or people who are disabled? Guess what? That they are complete too. They are complete just as they are. A lot of times, in Christian circles, we look at someone, we want to bring them to healing. Listen, I believe, and my friend Carl Butler just showed up, and Carl just said something in a post earlier this week. He said, like certain starfish and cuttlefish and things like that, they're able to regenerate limbs if they lose a limb. Well, why? He asked, why can't we do that? And the reason we can't do that is because of confidence. We lack the confidence to do that. So here's the thing, when I look at my friends and my brothers and sisters, who are blind or who are deaf. And the Christian thing is that we want to get you healed. No, I'm past that. I'm not trying to get you anything. Not trying to get you healed of anything. What I want you to do is to understand your completeness. And when you understand your completeness, anything from that point forward that you want to manifest in your life, you will be able to do it. Okay, so. Isness. Have you thought about what you are? See, this is one of the things where religion just completely fucks everybody up. I said it just like that. What happens is that religion gets you to focus on your doing. Change your behavior. Change your attitude. Change what you're thinking. Change what you're watching. Change what you're listening to. Change. Fix. And the reality is you don't need to fix anything. You don't. And now granted, I'm going to say something that's a little controversial here because, there are people that, they say that they're, trapped in pornography and all of this. You're not trapped in anything. It happens to be something that moves you right now. Now, the question is, you have to ask yourself, is this state that I'm in, is this something that I want to be in permanently? Is this something that I want to dwell in? And if it is, then great. You do your thing, you be you. But if it's something that you think, okay, that in order for me to advance to this next level in life, that I have to, ascend to a different level, a different plane, a higher degree of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Then what happens is, as you ascend to that way of thinking and you ascend to that way of believing, then what happens is that your doing will follow your being. Man, you have to really process that, download and process that. Your doing must follow your being, because what religion teaches you to do is to do so to prove that you are. And what it winds up doing is making most people into hypocrites. I love this coffee. And you know something? Let me pause for just a second, because I realized that I did not do something that I like to do, and that is to share this broadcast. So bear with me for just a second. I'm going to do this real quick. And for this, I'll need my glasses because the screen pitch is tiny on this laptop. But y'all stay with me here. Stay with me, because I'm going somewhere. I am going somewhere. Please believe me. And you guys will honestly be blessed by this. Because the reality is that most of us, and you know, Kyle does a really awesome job of teaching this, is that, well, you know what? Here we go. Share it to a page and a Goma. And all right, so we're live on Goma too. All right, keep forgetting to do that. But anyway, Kyle does a really good job of teaching people, you know, who they are, understanding who they are. And mind you, you know, this is another thing in religion, because I'm going to say something else too that's going to mess some people up, because I used to be part of what I call this grace movement, you know, and grace, right? And here's what I've learned is that basically the grace movement as it is right now, y'all, is just religion light. It's, you know, it tastes great and is less pressured, but it's still religion. And I got to get past that. But, you know, because people will say, well, it's all about who you are in Christ. Listen, if you look at it in the global sense, all humanity is in Christ. So it's not really who you are in Christ. It's who you are. Do you catch that? Who you are. And if you take an ostrich and clone it, you'll get another ostrich. If you clone a giraffe, you'll get a giraffe. Clone a human, and you'll get a human. Well, sort of, because I'm going somewhere. Excuse me. But if you take God and you pinch a piece off God and replicate that, what do you get? You are God. That's right. You are God, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. You are God, just as much as God is God. The only difference is that you occupy three-dimensional space and he occupies all dimensions. Okay? And so that's what you are. See, God stepped out into nothingness and spoke something and created everything. Now, when God opened his mouth, or better yet, when he formed the thought as to what he was going to do with creation, what did he have to start with as raw material? Because remember, he stepped out into nothing. You know, so that everything was just a void. It was empty. It was devoid of any substance, but something entered into that nothing and bang, expanded. And all of creation was created. So if you follow your Bibles, and better yet, if you take Jesus as your example, because basically anything that I don't see in Jesus, I've come to the conclusion, you know, your mileage may vary, but I've come to the conclusion that if I don't see it in Jesus, it just isn't there. It doesn't exist, right? So here Jesus was confident. Jesus was self-assured. Jesus was fully formed, and he took his essence and used it to multiply things, to create things, multiply things. So God took his essence. God is love, because Jesus is the express manifestation of God, the express image of God, but he's also a personification of love. So everything that Jesus did with love. We're created of love, and therefore everything that we create has to be from love, because that is our basic raw material. That's all God had to work with, and that, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, is all you have to work with. Now, watch this. The reason why, again, why people fail or they don't see the success in their lives that they want is because they're not fully formed in love. They don't really understand what it means to love their brother or sister. They don't know what it means to love the people that don't look like them, or the people that don't talk like them, or the people that are not from the same country that they are. They don't learn to love. And so what happens is they go out and they execute their day-to-day lives. And what happens is they experience frustration, they experience setbacks, they experience all of these things, right? And at the end of the day, they wonder why, and they'll get up and shake their fists at God as if God is up there. They'll shake their fists and well, God, why is it that things aren't working out for me? God, why is it that I don't have the things that I want? God, why don't I have the job that I want? Why don't I have the wife or the husband that I want? Why don't I have the kids that I want? Why don't I have the house that I want? Why? And they ask God, but the thing is that they turn around and they look and they say, I can't stand that son of a bitch over there. Do you see what I'm saying? It could be just a little thing, but all it takes is just a little bit of not love, something not like love, to ruin love. It's like if you take a teaspoon of Nestle's Quick and pour it into a 10-gallon vat of milk, you get chocolate milk. Do y'all see what I'm saying? So it don't take much. Rat poison is 99.995 corn or cheese or peanut butter or something rats like to eat. It's the 0.005% that kills the rat. It doesn't take much. So if you're wondering why things aren't working the way you want to, the way you think they should, look at yourself, right? Matter of fact, I say this all the time, and listen, this is someplace where I have to take responsibility, and you have to take responsibility. It's like if you look at this world and you see all the hatred, the strife, all the sickness and chaos and all of this stuff, and you ask yourself, why would God allow any of this? Well, brother, sister, that's a damn good question, because you are God. You are God. And the reason why anything that's contrary to love exists in the world is because we permit it. We decide that we're going to love selectively. Or as my friend Anthony Calloway likes to say, you cannot segregate your love. Because see, watch this. Once you get to the point where you think, I can segregate my love. I can love black people, but I hate white people. Or I can love straight people, but I hate gay people. Or if you say, I love Americans, but I hate foreigners. Or if you say, well, I love people that speak English, but I can't stand those bastards that speak Spanish. When you start thinking like this, right, then what happens is that love cannot be fully formed in you. I was talking to a friend of mine, Corey Nathaniel, yesterday, and we had a really good conversation. But what I was telling Corey is like, when you're growing grapes, right? People think, okay, well, grapes, you want to have organic grapes, right? But in order to get grapes, in order to get a good grape crop, you have to build trellises, right? Trellises are structures that the grapevine will creep up on to grow. Right? Because see, if you don't have the trellises, the grapevine can only grow out horizontally on the ground. And grapes are small and they're kind of fragile. when they're first growing. So what happens is that these grapes are out on the ground and they're suffering from heat. The insects and animals are eating them, and you can never get a grape crop because at some point you have to have a trellis or a structure by which you can grow this thing on. And that thing is love. Listen, whatever it is that you want to see come to pass in your life, it has to be born of love. If it's not born of love, it's just not going to happen. And watch this. If you don't provide this structure, you might put seed in the ground, and your grapevines will come out and they start growing along the ground, and then whatever is out there that eats them or destroys them will eat or destroy them, and your crop will be ruined. And this is what happens in real life because you're planting seeds of what it is that you want. You're planting seeds of thoughts. You're planting seeds of words. You're planting seeds of investment, of action into the world. And there is a harvest that comes from that. But the question is whether or not the harvest is going to be good, whether or not the harvest is going to be useful, whether or not you're going to be able to get wine. Matter of fact, not only wine, you don't get that shit right, you won't even get grape juice, dog. I mean, you won't even have enough to make grape jelly. You follow what I'm saying? So what we have to do is understand our isness. And our isness is our essence. Our isness is what we're made of, is who we are. It's what we are. It's why we are. See, the thing is that if you think about God, if God, I'm going to tell you something. When I look out in my backyard and I see these palm trees and these desert flowers and the swimming pool and all of this stuff, man, I say God must really like me. Because this is beautiful. This is paradise on earth. Now, could it be better? Absolutely. And it will be better because I'm learning more to fully form myself. That's why I just got back from England. And let me tell you something. The only reason why the trip to England was possible is because I am coming to this understanding of my completion, of my own divinity. And because of that, I have complete confidence in myself. And because I have this confidence in myself, there are other people that are going to see that and they're going to say, I like your confidence. I want to tap into that. I want to use your confidence to help bring a plan that I have to pass. And then what happens is that people will see your confidence and they're going to want to send you off to far-flung destinations in the world. They're going to want to send you to represent them. They're going to want to send you to help them. And not only that, not only is it going to help them, but guess what? You have your own individual vision. Not only are you partnering with a corporate vision, but you have an individual vision. And then when people see your confidence, they're going to want to tie in with this confidence that you have to help bring your vision to pass. Oh man, this is crazy. And watch this. If you look at the wealthiest and most successful people on earth, you will see something. Listen, Bill Gates doesn't sit up and question whether or not he's good enough. Steve Jobs didn't sit up and question whether he was good enough. Michael Jordan didn't question whether or not he was good enough. Oprah Winfrey. Now, mind you, every one of them, just like every one of us, goes through a period where we're uncertain, right? And this uncertainty is the turning point. This is the pivot. This is the hinge that our life rests on, whether we succeed or we fail, because we're going to ask the question, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I strong enough? Am I handsome enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I shapely enough? Whatever it is, you're going to ask that question, and guess what? How you answer that question is going to determine which way your life turns. Okay, so here's what happens. The Tyler Perrys of the world, the George Lucases of the world. These people, they get to this point and they realize, something, damn it, there is nothing that I can't do. There's nothing that I'm fully formed, I'm fully confident, and I'm going to take what I have and I'm going to bless people. I'm going to help other people improve their lives. I'm going to use this for the betterment of humanity, and in the course of that, I'm going to improve my own lot in life. And when you do that, then things change and you begin to experience, because watch this, what does God lack? What does God lack? I mean, if I can imagine, I think that God would have a place that would make anything on MTV Cribs look like a shack. And not only that, I bet you God has it set up so the furniture and the artwork and everything just changes moment to moment. Why? Because he has all eternity and he has everything at his disposal. So everything is just there. Everything is there. So why is it then that we are him or her and we struggle? So why do we struggle? We struggle because we haven't fully understood our isness. We haven't completely understood our being. And then on top of that, we have not taken our isness, which is love, and shared it with the rest of the world. See, that's the thing. It's not enough for you to be. Now you have to take this being and replicate it in the earth. Watch this. God didn't. Let me say something. Can I say something that's really gonna piss off some religious folks? We ain't created to worship. We're not created to serve God. Listen, if we're created to worship, if we're created to serve God, then God is pretty freaking shallow. Yep, I said that. If God is looking for servants, if he's looking for robots, drones, people who are just gonna just throw up holy hands and holy, 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 holy is the Lord and worship him and all of that, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man, God, that's a really shallow God. But if the God who created us said, something, I have everything and I am love. So I want those that I created to have everything, but I want them to share this love in creation just like I did. Oh my God. And when we get that, we translate from the physical to the spiritual, from the natural to the supernatural, from the macro to the quantum. And I'll tell you something else, that this quantum understanding, do you realize that all humanity is quantumly entangled? There's an old saying, there but for the grace of God go I. No, that's bullshit. Listen, there but by the grace of God and the love of humanity goes humanity. That is, if you are not willing to love, right, because of quantum entanglement, one particle that's changed here is also changed here. That's the nature of quantum entanglement. And because all of humanity is quantumly entangled, it's like if we're sowing things that are against love, that are not beneficial to humanity, then guess what? As it affects us, it affects others. And those who are doing likewise, as it affects them, it affects you, or it affects me. But if we say, because I'm quantumly entangled, that I'm going to take the love that is created in me, the love that is innate in me, the love that is inherent in me, and take that and share that, then that means that all of humanity gets improved, all of humanity gets edified, all of humanity gets equipped, all of humanity gets encouraged. And what happens is that we begin to better humanity as a whole simply because of our being. Your isness is the business. Listen, I could go on and on with this, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's Sunday, and man, we're past the rain, so I want to go outside and sit outside for a while and enjoy the day, and I want you to enjoy the day. But what I want you to understand is that God is love, you are love. You understand that? And watch this. Some people get this feeling, this sensation that nobody loves me, nobody cares. No, listen, there is somebody somewhere in this earth that loves you and cares. If it's just me, I'm just one person, but if it's just me, I love you. I have empathy for you, and I have compassion for you. You are awesome. You are a force of nature. You have the ability to create, to frame, and shape your world as you see fit. You have God dwelling inside of you. Matter of fact, you are God. You are his extension. You are his manifestation. You are his hands. You are his feet. You are his eyes, his ears. You are the expression of him in this earth right now. Yes, you. And when you understand this and say, now that I have this, see, this is the beautiful thing. Watch, when we get married or decide to procreate, have kids or whatever, that we want to express our feelings, our beliefs, our knowledge, our understanding, our wisdom in someone else so that it can be passed on through generations. And if you come to the realization that I am love because I am God, and my isness is to take what is in me and reproduce it into the earth, whether it be through procreation, whether it be through invention, whether it be through engineering, whether it be through music, whether it be through dance, that something I have to put something of me into the world. That's what God did. God said, hey, I've created all of this stuff. Now let me put myself into it so that it is better, because I'm God and I'm awesome. And if you take that same approach, and if you say like, hey, I'm God and I'm awesome, and I have to take what is in me and I have to share it. It is not only my obligation, it is not only my responsibility, it is not only my desire, it is the very fabric of my being to put this out into the earth. And man, I'm telling you, when you get this, people are going to reach out to you and they're going to say, how can I be down with you? How can I help to bring what it is that you're trying to do to pass? And they'll ask you, how can you help me bring what it is that I have in my heart to pass? And watch this. By doing that, I'm bringing what's in my heart, what's in my mind to pass, and I'm helping someone else do that. And then it gets paid forward because other people want to partner, and this partnership just continues on and on and on. And eventually what we do is we will bring what we consider to be heaven into our here and now. Now, is everybody supposed to be a billionaire? No, but I'll tell you this. Ain't nobody supposed to be lacking anything. Ain't nobody supposed to be hungry. Ain't nobody supposed to be homeless. Ain't nobody supposed to be sick. Nobody's supposed to have any of that. But those things only exist because we allow them, because we're not willing to share love unconditionally. Do that, and the world changes. So that is what I have for today. I hope that it encourages you. I hope that you will take time. Stop looking up. Stop looking out. Stop looking around and look within. And find that source that is within you. Find that source and then tap into it. And then once you tap into it, turn the spigot on it so that it pours out. And fill up cups. Keep filling up cups. And you'll find that your source is unlimited. You are unlimited. Okay? So I hope that's, that encourages you. And I just want to say, man, Kyle, thank you, brother. I love you, man. It's like, listen, there's all of you guys that are watching. I want you to know something from the bottom of my heart, that I am better because of you. Even the folks that don't like me, you know what? I'm better because of you. Now, sometimes you're better in spite of, but that's another thing. So let me go through and give some shout outs. So Shawana, thank you for joining. I pray that things are going good for you. I saw that you responded to something that I said about confidence, and I know that you do. And listen, you you are one of my heroes. I just want to say that so that you know. Lisa Zikon, thank you for joining. Angela Van Gulik, thank you for joining. My man, Big Craven Smith in the house. Dr. Glenn Hartline, one of my faves. I love this guy. Awesome teacher. Let's see, who else? I'm trying to get through this. Chosen Wilson, thank you for joining. Charles Knowles, thank you for joining, brother. Let's see. Yeah, Michelle, Irene Gill, thank you for joining. I'm just trying to scroll through here and make sure that I give a shout out to whoever it is. Oh, you said me and Lynn were cooking on the same stove today, Kyle. Yeah, I haven't watched Lynn's yet, but I'm gonna watch it today. But that's a brother who's a consistent blessing to me. Did I? How did I do that? Wow. Funny thing about touching these screens. Yep. And so that's everybody. So that's it. And please be sure to check out my blog on Pathos. It's called Love Minus Religion. And I've got a couple of articles out there. I have another one out there today. And now I think this week I will finally get around to getting the podcast back up and running. I have some episodes that I haven't aired yet. I need to get those out there, especially with my brother Carl Forehand. He's been waiting. I want to talk. I talked with him about his book, and it was an awesome conversation. I want y'all to check that out. And then also, connect with me on www.derekday.com or on social media, Facebook, Derek Day Multimedia, or on Instagram or Twitter, Derek E. Day. All right, that's it. That's all, folks.